Previously on Balls.
Balls Visual Radio Mix 93.8 FM. Into the flush out we go. Proudly brought to you by Imperial Collection, home of the signature brands like Bentley, Lamborghini and Lotus, and a whole range of other signature brands as well. If you want to find out what they've got and what they look like and what they do, the best way, go through our website, click on our World of Supercars with 1F and F1. They go and play around with some of these signature brands every week or every second week, and the videos are there at balls.co.za. Some fabulous stuff, beautiful dealership as well. I went to pop in there with Campo a couple of weeks ago, and some awesome machines. Right as you walk in, Ferrari standing right there, boom. If you want to go and drop by, feel free. They're very friendly. They even offer you a coffee when you get there as well. Nice cappuccino, top of the range. It's corner of William Nicol and Bryanston Drive if you're in the market or just want to go and have a look. Imperial Collection, home of the signature brands. Campo.
Darren.
How are you doing?
I'm well, how are you?
Yeah, all right, thank you. Just got to clear one thing now. Are you there for our golf day?
I should be, yes.
Well, you need to confirm with us because it's coming in 3 weeks' time.
I know.
Wednesday's 3 weeks, and we've got you down in one of the teams. I think you're in Nasser's team.
It's a long way off.
Yeah, you're in Nasser's team. He wants to finalise who's going to be playing for who.
Okay.
All right. Cool. Don't worry, we'll get you up there with our friends at British Airways, and we'll get you up and we'll get you back.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So, Curry Cup is underway.
Interesting, eh?
Are you giving us a Brendan Fenter interview here?
Yeah, you don't sound very enthusiastic about our golf day. It's like our biggest thing in the year.
I mean, the thing is now, I suppose, with the Curry Cup, I mean, all the test players are out, so you're basically getting the second teams playing, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, that's how it normally does start.
It's interesting also, because I think I spoke to Darren, where was it, last week, I think, where it was mentioned that the CEO of South African Rugby is getting a bit annoyed because Hanneke May has picked 10 overseas players. And, you know, and I remember we had a word, Darren, and the thing is that if you keep on doing that, all the young guys here will go overseas. What's the use playing in a competition in South Africa if you're not going to get selected for the box?
Well,
when it comes to selection time.
Well, look, on that basis, once again, I actually take the side of the powers that be, because I remember 10 years ago, when things weren't going all that great, or 12 years ago, whenever it was, once again, another crisis time in South African rugby, and everyone was on, was going through the Harry Viljoen, Rudolf Stroyle era, that time. And one of the big talking points was the fact that we had players that were starting to go and play overseas, and that we weren't picking them. And people were baying for us to start picking players based overseas, saying, well, it's like soccer, you can pick players from wherever they play, it doesn't matter. And people were baying for it. Now we've basically, the chickens have come home to roost, because now, with that policy, players are allowed to go and play overseas. They can make a few pounds. They're obviously going to get make a lot more money because of the exchange rate, etc. And still get to play for the Springboks. They just have their contracts drawn up that way. Now, suddenly the talk is, oh no, we're losing all our players overseas. It's watering down the Curry Cup, therefore we must stop it. So,
well, as I said, like, if you're watching the weekend, I mean, who really played on the weekend?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the point, but the point is...
Well, I mean, but that's the point. If you didn't have those players going overseas, you'd have some big names playing.
Yeah.
And it's quite ironic that the CEO of Australian Rugby is actually, he's starting to think the same and say, well, we're going to have to pay these test players more money to stop them from going overseas. So it's going to happen. Otherwise, we're going to have another football situation where the Lions, hypothetically, will have 14 international players and one local. So when the Springboks team's picked, you've got no local players.
Yeah. Because
they're going to chase the money. So they've either got to look at it and start paying properly, because I know that the Force have signed up 3 South Africans. They've got 4 there. They've got guys going everywhere because they can't get a run here. So sometimes you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. It's not an easy situation. But the thing is, you've got to actually start to look after the players. If you don't look after the players, they're going to go. Because, the once upon a time thing in our era, the ultimate was playing for your country. These guys don't care about playing for their country anymore.
Well, they're making a living playing rugby, and I mean, when your living isn't done in pounds, you will never be able to compete on a South African level. No. And you can't expect people when it's a professional sport now, because that's the other thing. People were saying when it was amateur, it's got to turn professional, You turn it professional, they become professionals. Yeah. Professional means making a living out of the game. In other words, don't have another job now, play rugby, and we'll pay you for it. Yeah. Well, if someone is going to get an offer in pounds, they're going to take it.
Mate, I'm not against the players from doing that. It's just that, you know, if we actually thought about it many years ago and did it properly, we probably wouldn't be in this situation. But because the IRB kept on saying, if you bring a book out, you get barred. If you do this, you get fined. Instead of slowly allowing things to happen, people could have made money out of the game by doing books or appearances or something different, you know. But now it's just gone from amateur to professional overnight. And realistically, you know, we talk about it, are we really professional? I mean, you know, the guys go training 7, 5, 6 days a week. You see them watch you play a game and they still can't catch and pass.
Yeah.
You know, are they really professional? Or is it just because there's no one else really to put in there? I don't know.
Well, are you talking Curry Cup now? Are you talking...
Well, a bit of everything. I mean, we've got the championship trophy starting off this week. You know, and... you know, I think Australia, they've got no... Like George Smith, I think retired. He's not playing any more tests. The Australians are picking all their players who are local. The All Blacks, I remember, they will not pick players from overseas because otherwise it destroys your local competition because players aren't going to play for the Chiefs or for the Blues or that. And that's when it degrades the competition.
Well, it's going to be to a lesser extent for them, although obviously, yeah, the lure of the pound over there is still an attractive one. But from South Africa is on a hiding to nothing there because when you see the exchange rates compared to...
But you know, I mean, the thing is, do the South African Rugby Union pay the right money?
Well, where are they going to get that money from?
Well,
that's the difference.
But the thing is, Nick Mallett was saying that they don't spend even 3/4 of the money they receive a year. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I don't know where that comes from. But I mean,
that's what we're talking about. So
when you say when you're multiplying by 15 or 14 or whatever it is, 13, you're never going to compete with that kind of money. And if it's a professional thing, big guys are going to go overseas.
But also, if you have a look a couple of weeks ago about the top sportsmen in the country, the golfers were number one. Then you had rugby players.
Yeah,
it's not bad. You know, the soccer players came sort of coming down the list, but there was no one else.
Yeah.
So they do make a good living, but the thing is, you can't compare.
Exactly.
You live in South Africa, you can't compare. You can't say, oh, the pound is 14 to 1. You know, I mean, the thing is, you can't do that because you earn rand.
Yeah.
You know, but the thing is that the Irish were very smart, and that's why O'Driscoll's and those guys never left Ireland because what they came to an agreement with the tax man is that you stay and play for Ireland and don't go anywhere. When you retire, you get all your tax back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a smart way of doing it. At least they're not going anywhere.
Yeah. The problem is that when you're having players over here and they're seeing what guys are, even in pound terms over there, and they do the math, they think, well, I can go there for 2-3 years.
Yeah.
I can earn enough money to be able to be comfortable for a long time if I come back here. And what you're seeing is guys are going early, like a Jean-Andre Kruger. Guaranteed he'll be back here at some stage. You know, playing Curry Cup and local rugby again, unless things really change over that period. But he's earned 5 years or whatever of money over there, and if he can play for the Springboks as well, then basically you can have your cake and eat it in this day and age.
Yeah, but I mean the thing is that I agree. There's nothing wrong with that, but you got all these young guys coming through the ranks now, and they're not getting picked for the box like the Test matches a couple of weeks ago. You know, some of those players played well, but they're not picked because he's gone for the experience of overseas players. Now, if you think about World Cups, for example, is in 2015, Australia's been through it, New Zealand, South Africa. We all go win a World Cup. 4 years later, we pick the same team. But it does not work. You can't win twice in a row for the same team because the game moves on. Yeah. So you think that Hanneke May will say, right, we need to pick players that are going to play in the World Cup 2015 now, even if say, well, this is it, this is my squad. We're not going to change it because we want the team to play together. Farid Dupree's coming back and was playing 3 games.
Yeah.
I mean, is that good for the team, or he's been playing 3 games and hopefully that's great?
You know, that's the one thing. He's been playing in Japan. Now, we don't know how competitive it is there. So how sharp is he from an international point of view? You know, is it anywhere near going to get him as sharp as, say, Super Rugby would do, or even playing Northern Hemisphere Rugby? We don't know. Only time will tell.
Well, you know, because George Smith struggled when he came back because they've got about 8 games a year.
Yeah, but they're getting paid bucket loads of money, so
ordinary rugby.
You can't hold it against him if he's been offered bucket loads of money. Then good luck to him.
But Darren, as I said, I'm not against the players. I'm just saying the system. You know, I reckon it's great. Players can make money because what we went through as amateurs, made 20 quid a day was crap. You know, 18 games. Yeah. In Grand Slam '84, we got 20 quid a day. But it was different circumstances because we actually loved doing it. Now it's a job.
Yeah.
You know, and I understand that, but I'm just saying if they actually thought about it and saying, right, you know, if you want to play for the Box, you stay and play in the country, you know, and try and get a third sponsor like they do in Australia or in rugby league and all that. They try and get a third sponsor, someone that loves the game and tops up their salary. And the other thing is, you know, I saw that Sonny Bill Williams has been offered a 3-year deal with the Chiefs again. So, you know, he's the guy who's probably the worst because he's going from different codes, just getting bucket loads of money and just turning up and playing. But he's playing well.
Yeah.
You know? So it's a tough decision. It's not you wouldn't want to be in the boardroom trying to decide how to sort all this out. But for a young guy, you know, the ultimate still is playing for your country. But if you look at, for example, Test day cricket's died because of the 2020 bash, you know.
No, it hasn't died.
One-dayers.
Don't think Test cricket's died at all. I disagree completely.
Yeah.
I think Test cricket is still as strong as it ever was. Look at the crowds they're getting at the Ashes.
Maybe not in Australia, but here and in England, it's alive and kicking.
Happy we won one.
Oh, Campese.
Okay. We won't talk about your 2020 guys. Don't worry about it.
No, but 2020 guys. No, the 2020 guys won the series.
Yeah. Okay. Go jump in now. Come on.
We don't care about 2020. Test cricket is still the ultimate test. Every player will tell you that. Yeah.
Only when you win you care. If you lose, you don't worry about it.
We're number 1 in the world, mate.
Who?
South Africa.
About what?
Test cricket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm happy for you.
Good.
No,
Can we get on to the weekend's rugby and get your expert opinion? First of all, the championship, South Africa, Argentina. Well, do you look anywhere else other than New Zealand to win this thing?
I think New Zealand, I think they're miles ahead. I think Argentina are going to struggle because they really, again, they have all their players based in France.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing is, they bring them back for a couple of weeks, and you've got to go out and play New Zealand, Australia, South Africa week in, week out. It's a tough order.
Yeah.
I think New Zealand's, you know, you never know. A couple of injuries changes things. But I think that Ewan McKenzie's actually got the team starting to think, you know, have a bit more pride playing for the Wallabies, which I think under Robbie Deans went missing. So I think you might find a different sort of Australian team.
And they're sharp from a Lions series as well.
Yeah, that'll really help after them smash there, yeah. So a lot of pride. James O'Connor will probably be tucked away in bed at 8 o'clock every night from now on. But it was interesting, I was reading an article where he says that he's actually a changed person under Ewan McKenzie. So does that say really a lot for Robbie Deans?
Yeah.
But,
as long as he changed for the better.
I think Australia's got some really good individuals.
Yeah.
Again, as you know, they need to start up front for forward, so that's going to be a tough one. And, you know, I think it could be close, because if you don't win at home, you know, you're going to struggle away.
Yeah.
Where in Sydney are they playing?
I think they're playing, I think it'll be at the Olympic Stadium.
Okay. Allianz Arena, whatever they call it now.
Yeah, Allianz Arena, which is 80,000, so that'll be packed.
Yeah.
But I think that's the first outing for Ewan McKenzie as well, so that'll be a... You know, and the thing what he's been talking about is actually just beating the All Blacks. That's his number one priority, because we haven't won the Blues like up for 10 years.
Well, they came close in, where was that, the last test they played against something. What did they end up, draw or something?
They ended up a draw, but the one before that was 22-0, so it didn't really help.
All right, well, the championship's starting off this weekend, and obviously there's more Curry Cup rugby action to come. Yep. Some quick predictions on the championship from Campese. South Africa, Argentina?
South Africa.
Okay. By a lot.
Well, the teams, again, they've got... We obviously know with Dupree being there, it's going to be a kicking game.
Yeah.
So, you know, the Argentinians are good at spoiling. But the new scrum's going to be very interesting. It's going to actually help the Australian scrum, because they're pretty poor, so being close and no charging, I mean, it's going to help them, because they won't be pushed around everywhere. But, yeah, look, I think Argentina will give you a run. But again, you've got too many class players.
All right, and New Zealand, Australia?
I have to go for Australia.
Yeah, all right, we'll see what happens.
I think we're going to surprise a few people. I think Ewan's... It's a difference, amazing. You know, like when you get a new coach, the players want to prove, you know, to the coach and to everybody that they've actually changed the corner.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be very, very close, yeah.
All right, David says South Africa and Australia this weekend. We'll see what happens. Thanks a lot, Campo. We'll chat to you again next Monday.
Hopefully next week I'll be a bit happier, but, you know.
Yeah. All right, cool. Thanks for the chat, and thanks for the flash out.
Bye,
Cheers, David.
Campo.
Bye. There we go, David Campese. Sounded like he was grumpy.
Yo, he's grumps today.
Gee. With the Brendan Fenter answer
Yeah.
at the beginning there. Yes,
Beg him
no.
to come to our golf day.
Wow. Well, he's on the list anyway. Team NAS. That is the Flush Out, proudly brought to you by Imperial Collection. Home of the signature brands. Go and check them out. Corner of William Nicol and Bryanston Drive. Or go to their website, imperialcollection.co.za. That's Imperial Collection, all one word, .co.za. Otherwise, click on their button on the front page of our website at balls.co.za.
This is Balls Visual Radio. Darren, Simon, Kate, and John. Weekdays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central African Time. Balls.co.za.